It is the building block of a good risk assessment. A scenario is a verbal presentation of something bad that can happen that has a likelihood and has a loss. It's actually very important that we has unambiguous scenarios. So what is the risk of a worn out tire? Is this a good risk scenario? If I could read your thoughts, you would all say, well, Mr. Tigerson, it depends. Where does that worn out tire, where is that located? So is it a worn out tire here? Then the risk is one thing. If it's a worn out tire on a school bus filled with students on a slippery road like this, then it's another thing. So what is the risk of a worn out tire? That is a good example of an ambiguous risk scenario. Because when this is put to the table, this scenario, we would all say, well, Mr. Tigerson, it depends. And as long as we will say, well, it depends, we have some more work to do. So how do we create a good risk scenario? A good risk scenario has 4 components. It has a threat actor. It has a threat. It involves an asset. And it has a consequence. Each one of these elements has a clear definition. Is this a good risk scenario, do you think? Try to look at it. Does it comply with the protocol that we just saw before here, that it had these 4 elements? Does it have these 4 elements? Well, let's look at it. Does it have an asset? Yes, it does actually. There's a CRM system, and there's some client information involved in this risk scenario. So check, there is an asset. Is there a threat? Yes, there is actually a threat. There is a code exploration or brute force password guessing. That's a threat. Is there a threat actor? Yes, there is. It's the red one. It's a malicious external actor. And is there a description of the effect or the consequence of this incident? Yes, there is. It's a loss of confidentiality, integrity, or availability. So in this example, you have a good risk scenario that complies to the rule that we just discussed. It has these 4 elements. So if you go back to your risk registers that you are working on in your various organizations, then ask yourself if the risk actually comply to this very basic protocol involving these 4 elements. If it does not, then you're not able to ask the question to your experts on likelihood and on impact, because they will say it depends, and that will make that dialogue very, very difficult.